Hello guys, and welcome back to Joe's Ventures. And today, as we can see, another month has gone past, so we've got another dev diary for Prehistoric Kingdom. You know, one of those really cool, accurate dinosaur park builders, which I'm quite excited to get stuck into in the future. But yeah, been following this game for ages and ages, and yeah, we're going to be carrying on with some new updates for October 2025. So there's a lot of cool things actually in this update. Some performance things, some things for the future, but also, as you can see, a new species kind of reveal for the Vivariums, and some updates with the Vivariums, which I'm so excited about. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's just get started in this. Okay, so welcome to October Development Diary. We hope you've had a spooky month with plenty of park building to go around. In this post, we'll be exploring more of the new content coming up in Update 16 and meeting a particularly cute friend, which I think he's very cute, but we'll get into that. So, the state of development. So, as we continue to march forwards, we've made good progress on Update 16. 6 of our 9 upcoming Vivarium species have had their models fully finalized, meaning it's time to move on to the animations and sounds. You might be able to get an early look at some of them over on Patreon. So yeah, there's a couple. There's about 9 or so new Vivarium species that'll be coming in this update, and some of them have again, getting some updates and things, and now they're modeled. They're just getting their animations and sounds. So that's the big jobs. But as you can see here, our original duo though, the Archaeopteryx and the Microraptor, have seen some adjustments too. And while both have received a new rig and updated proportions, the Microraptor in particular was given an updated texture to try and make it pop a little bit more. Those pants have never been fuller. So you can see it's definitely got a bit of a nice update there. I love how the feathers are a little bit more realistic now. You can see the feathers on it. And I really love how it comes out here, and you see that iridescence. Did a really amazing job, topping up this guy, giving it a good update. And then we can see Archaeopteryx. It looks quite good as well. Not as heavy an upgrade, but you can see there's some changes there. The positions of the wings have changed, and they've done a really good job in updating these species for us, which is really cool. So, in October, we were able to finally integrate FSR 3.1 to the game. For those unaware, using FSR is basically allows the game to render at a lower resolution and then get scaled back up. Depending on the scene, this can greatly increase rendering performance, especially for devices like a Steam Deck. So it's basically, it's a cheap way to have, really nice visuals, but without adding performance. Um, Using FSR native AA mode can also make the game look super crisp, though it won't improve your performance. So it kind of helps it just come out a little bit nicer as well. But you can see really cool. Even though it's a lower render, it still looks quite crisp. It kind of scales it up. But yeah, really cool. Definitely a big fan of how that's all come out. We should note that using FSR you can come with some caveats, especially in motion, e.g., more ghosting or smeared guests. Since PK is a simulation, though, performance is more closely tied to the CPU rather than you may think. So rendering itself is not always the biggest bottleneck. So if you want to play simulation games like these, you need to not only have a good GPU, you need a good CPU. So just keep that in the future. Though regardless, we hope the integration of FSR will help a number of players run the game better than before once Update 16 releases. There will be various levels of quality to choose from: native AA, ultra quality, quality balance performance, and ultra performance, as well as regular anti-aliasing options, and you'll get a broad sense of how these quality levels compare below. So you can see these are the different ones. So this is native AA, ultra quality. So you can see this is just a little bit brighter. The balanced, a little bit more kind of balanced for performance. You can see the ultra performance. You can see just a little bit more muddy textures. Is kind of the best way to put it. You can see the ultra quality is really good lighting and texture and stuff like that. But this kind of brings it down a bit just to make sure you can see. Oh no, that's not what we want. Ultra performance. So you can see it kind of makes the textures less prominent, just so there's less to actually render. But yeah, really cool. As you can see, I'm not an expert on that stuff. I know what anti-aliasing is, and those kind of things. There's videos on it on YouTube if you really want to learn what that means. It's technical gaming stuff. You can learn that. There's some good channels to learn that, but we're going to carry on and talk about other stuff. But beyond this, the teams developed the first functional prototypes for the Ferris wheel and panoramic tower rides coming soon. We're using placeholder art at the moment, but visitors are able to properly board and ride, then disembark to and finish. And without a cashier, a ride cannot operate. These landmark style attractions have been notably absent in the zoo sim space, so we're super excited to finally bring them to the community. After all, who want to see across a dinosaur park? So yeah, that's quite cool. Some more kind of theme parky kind of features, which is a good way to set itself apart a bit more, not a park a bit more. Um, yeah, because obviously there's places like SeaWorld and Dreamworld that do have animals as well, but then you have, these big rides and stuff. I'm not sure they're going to go the full roller coaster route. I believe there was originally some plans for some roller coasters, but I don't think they'll go full Planet Coaster with it or anything. There'll be some designs that you can use, and I mean, why not? If you're gonna have a big park like this, take advantage of the space you've got, and you have some nice big rides, and you can theme them around different animals and things. Like Jurassic Park, the Bone Shaker from the Telltale game. That's a good example, and hopefully they're just as customizable as everything else. So that'd be really cool to see. But this is kind of, state of development. But we've got for update 16, we have got Vivariums for Simosuchus Unleashed. It's a very, very cool little guy. So coming soon to a park near you is a terrifying, massively jawed, tiny Simosuchus. So Simosuchus is the adorable pug-nosed crocodile. It was originally found in the late Cretaceous floodplains of Madagascar, sharing a formation with popular dinosaurs like the mighty Majungasaurus. So this is found in Madagascar, little Notosuchian, little herbivorous croc. Really, really cool to see this guy in game. Really gives some variety. Really, really cute too. So despite its rugged appearance, Simosuchus was actually a herbivore. It has dozens of tiny leaf-shaped teeth in its mouth that were perfect for stripping low-lying vegetation. And thanks to the fossil record, this is another species our scientists were able to restore with a high degree of genetic accuracy. So let's have a look at you sitting in your lovely. And I have to say that is very cute. I do like how he like snorts and stuff around. He's like a little pig. It's really, really great. But yeah, here's another good picture of the Simosuchus. So here's a couple more variations there. You can see differences in the lighting and stuff like that. But yeah, rendered very, very well. You can see it doesn't have the tail of like a typical crocodile that you think of. Much more terrestrial with large osteoderms and very, very different looking. The herbivorous, iguana croc, you could probably call it, or pug croc, I like to say as well. But pugs obviously carnivores. But yeah, anyway, big leaps for little kind. So some other updates to the Vivariums. Over the last month, we've managed to add leaping and flying to the Vivarium locomotion. Perhaps surprisingly, one of these new features can be seen with the Compsognathus. By adding enrichment to the habitat, your Cothies can see the world from a whole new perspective, jumping up onto logs and basking rocks. All of this is very much still work in progress though, so please keep that in mind. So let's have a look at you there, climbing up the top there. Reminds me of like meerkats, running around the place. So non-final locomotion. So yeah, this is a work in progress, so it's kind of just um, showing you the development of it all, working on it, making sure it works well. Very, very cool. Hop, 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 you hoppy boy. Very cute. And you hop down. I'm really excited to see how these Vivariums come out. They're very awesome. Yes, he's still walking around. Not phased. It's cool. Yep, very, very cool. So carry on to the next one. We'll pause that. So, of course, aerial species like Archaeopteryx can also leap, fly, or walk across their enclosure. Just like the Comfy, enabling enrichments such as climbing structures or forage boxes will give your birdies plenty of destinations. Flight as well as their pathing will be smoothed out in the final version. So let's have a look here. So they're flying around. Oh, hop. Little Archaeopteryx. Very bird-like movements. Very, very cool. I like how they do the head. Very bird-like. So hop, hop, hop. Walking around, hop, hop, hop. One on the top of the perch there, so it'll fly across hopefully. Very birdy movements. There he goes. Flies over. Very cool. Goofy little guy. Did a great job. Great fly there, buddy. So it's cool to see that there's so much variety in these vivariums, not the static boxes like in Planet Zoo. But anyway, we're going to have a look in here. A splashing success. So using a new water rendering system, vivariums will be able to generate their own water volumes on demand. It's fast, effective, and makes your amphibious habitats look that much more beautiful. So you can see this is your amphibious. Looks like a tank, comes like you could easily expect having some sort of crocodile in there or something. Great to see, we've got that viewing so we can have a look in there. Looks beautiful. It really does. And you can see on top of it there, so there's some rocks in there and everything, so it looks really, really nice. And then we've got here some smaller ones. So you can see this one. It's great for a little decoration. And obviously you can put modular things in them. So you can, decorate it as much as you'd like. Almost like a little touch pool there. And then you've got another one in there that's a little bit more enclosed. It looks really, really cool. But this development has not just limited the vivariums, it also extends to the tide pool enrichment. With your Spinosaurus prey will feel that much more refreshed for the moment. So you can see a little tide pool. Love the little waterfall there. Looking down and you can see the Spinosaurus is like, where can I have some food? And you got all these different starfish and crabs and fish. They'd be very, very happy. Very, very cool. And you can see a bit of view at that in there. Spinosaurus putting its face in to grab that. Cool if you have something like we could put live fish in the deep water. Something like Jurassic World Evolution 3, that would be cool. But anyway, in the future, we'd love to add some falcons or dedicated water pieces that take advantage of this new tech. And we're really great to see what nice looking water does to the environment. So yeah, it looks so much better. It looks amazing. Also, some more changes of vivariums. We've got the vivarium walls. So the art for the vivarium facades, cladding, and terrain have now all been finished. Come November, we'll start populating them with nature and enrichment items. So you can see here, there's a few of the different, cladding and things as we kind of mentioned before. So I think that's the tropical, arid, and then forest or temperate. I think they say so. Jungle, see the jungle there, and then you can see the arid there, and it's got the full cladding. So this is the half cladding, so it's got half cladding across the side there, but also got the background in there, and then this one's got the full background. Just to give you some options. Whether or not terrestrial vivarium displays burrows actually depends on the species inside. So the arboreal vivarium will also have a tree shell enrichment that makes it more like the current mini aviary. So there'll be some things that are kind of with both species, and I assume you can mix some and see. So we'll see how that goes. But this is kind of the big updates for the vivariums for October. But we've got something new coming as well. So here we've got Afflictions, Disease, and Death. And we've got there, a very dead-looking Triceratops with one looking on saying, oh, my buddy. But yeah, this is a bit of a melancholy part, as they say. So this month we were able to actually get started on a melancholy but necessary part of your game, disease. Though we're still working on it, animals will soon be able to grow old, contract afflictions, and unfortunately die. So animals will be able to develop a variety of issues stemming from things like swimming, bad weather, poor habitats, or even contained feeders. So I really like that idea, being able, because if you do bad husbandry with your animals, that can cause disease. So if you have a habitat wrong, let's say you have not enough the right substrate, you can develop things like bumblefoot, which can be a dangerous thing because you can get infections through cuts and things like that. So I think that's a really cool way, to bring real life zoos, because obviously I'm a real life zookeeper. Things like that is stuff you got to think about because that can lead to afflictions like infections, because you get lots of cuts on your feet, and so yeah, it's a lot to think about. But anyway, so yeah, we've got swimming, bad weather, poor habitats, and even contaminated feeders. So those are things that can be issues. Most diseases can evolve into something more extreme if left unchecked by vets. For example, a common cold can go to pneumonia, all the way to respiratory failure and a heart attack. Um, Well, many afflictions can also lead to a more peaceful death, induced by coma. Not all are that lucky. In the worst case scenarios, your animals may suddenly collapse to the ground and eventually pass away if they don't receive treatment. And we're actually using some of the combat knockdown animations from Update 17 for this. So you can see, we'll have a look there. So animals that collapse or that are knocked down once combat is added will struggle on the ground before they're able to find their footing again. As you see below, animals that are too weak will never make a recovery. Despite our budget limitations, we like things like this will set Prehistoric Kingdom apart and offer a more dynamic solution to how animals respond to gameplay sandbox. So I think it's cool, and being able to look at visual issues. So I think it'd be really cool. Obviously, maybe the budget won't allow for this, but if an animal's got an injured leg, a limp, there's like ways that you can, because often though you don't look in your management views all the time. Most of the time, you'll be looking over your park, as a normal viewer. So it'd be cool if you could see, oh, that animal's limping, and you can go and sort that out. I think more visual ways, because if you're like watching and looking over your park, and then you see a T-Rex limping, you're like, oh, I got to go sort that. More visual ways and less looking at screen management screens, and more actually looking at your animals and monitoring your animals. So I think that's really really cool. But here, we've got a work in progress. So this is for the T-Rex. You collapse. Oh, poor buddy. Yeah, I think he died. And yep, he died there. Poor buddy. He just didn't have the strength. Rex in peace. Very sad. But here we've got the Triceratops, who is. I think he's got the strength to get back up. He's got a little bit of it. Yep, and then he goes up. Yep. Damn. Hit. So this guy gets back up. So he's got this combat, so he gets up. And then if he's, sick, it won't get back up. That's alright. He gets up and goes to live another day. But no matter how morbid, we generally can't wait to share more about this part of the game. So disease tends to be an overlooked part of zoo sims, and our planned approach in visualizing various conditions and symptoms is something we'll think you find very interesting. Stay tuned. So yeah, I hope they actually implement some of those things. They probably already had that idea anyway, but I think that'd be really cool to have more visual ways to show diseases, and have your husbandry decisions lead to sometimes diseases, like if you have bad substrate for your animals. You get bumblefoot, and then da 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 da. If it's too cold, you get hypothermia or hypothermia, hypo or hyperthermia, depending on the temperature. So things like that, I think that'd be really interesting to have. But yeah, update 18 is we've got 17 and 18, but jumping ahead to next year, update 18 will be the last early access update before we hunker down for full release. So yeah, we're actually coming near the end uh, of early access, so there's only a couple more updates left, which is wild to think about, considering I remember 10 years ago when this game first started, there was basically everyone was just making it in their free time, but this game has come so far, mainly because of the love of the community and the dedication of the developers to try and make this happen. So the vision is almost a reality, which is amazing. But yeah, update 18 will be the last early access update before we hunker down for the full release. While it'll offer new gameplay in the form of breakouts, security engineers, we will also finally get the wetland map. So alongside this new level and wetland foliage improvements, we're actually going to replace the painted water rendering system with the one coming to Vivariums in Update 16. It'll be quite a lot of work, but it should run faster, look better, and finally allow us to place render pieces underwater. Builders rejoice. So you can see this is kind of a test of that. So it's a lot of work, but they're going to make it. So you can see the rocks and logs in the water. That looks absolutely amazing. Hope we can change the colors as well, because you want to make a really dirty stream. Well, they've already got the colours as well, the dirty water and stuff like that. But it'd be cool to have, like, salt water, fresh water, some more varieties and what kind of water that you can use. But yeah, this update is still quite a ways off, but we think you'll truly love it when it arrives. Weird and a little bittersweet that Prehistoric Kingdom's early access journey is almost coming to an end. But you can see here, so this is the render from the top, and then it's another look from the bottom there, so you can see, through the camera. Mama Spino and her baby walking around, but you can see the logs and the rocks under the water, so that's absolutely amazing. But community spotlights. So this is a really nice one by Ballard. Really, really cool little rhino, little Asmatherium. Really, really cute. And then probably Mama in the background. What's next we got? This is by Carlos G72. We've got this kind of, high hide. And then you can have a look and see down the Megaloceros. It looks really, really nice. The big Irish elk. By Wither, we've got these really cute, little chibi Spinos. I really like them. That's very cute. And we've got here by Blue. We've got this really, really nice, probably variation within the Oviraptor. Looks really, really nice. And yeah, really, really cool variety there. So let's have a look. So thank you for reading October's Dev Diary. If you thought the game looks a little different than all the screenshots, that's because we're touching up the lighting and post-processing. Along with the addition of SFR, we think that update 16 will be one of the prettiest updates yet, and we will back next month for the final Dev Diary of the year, as a team will have a break at the end of December. So we've got one more Dev Diary for 2025. I can't believe this year has already ended so quickly. But yes, very, very cool. We hope to get the Vivariums by end of the year, hopefully. Maybe not, but we'll see. Just see how that goes. These guys, I'd rather them take the time to make something good, rather than trying to work there and give us something quickly and not that well and require lots of updates. But yeah, amazing. Love the Simoceratops, and lots of really, really cool, with the water rendering and the changes to the Vivarium and stuff. Looks really, really amazing. So yeah, I think this is a great place to end the video. So I really, really, really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you guys like and subscribe, always want to get that little bell icon to get notified below anything. So if you guys enjoyed this video, hope you guys like and subscribe, and bye-bye.